Hey guys, I'm rare coin expert Walt Durham,
and longtime industry veteran Ben Parker.
and we are the coin guys from Texas. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the 69th annual Fun Show down there in Orlando, Florida. I know you've never been, but
Yeah, I've never been to that show. I've been to some local ones, ones in Houston, around Texas, places like that.
Right.
But I've heard a lot about this one in particular. A lot of people refer to this one as the Super Bowl of coin shows.
Yeah,
it's the big one of the year.
it's the Super Bowl, man. It really is. It kickstarts the year as you know for sure.
Oh yeah,
The industry shuts down pretty much the back half of December with all the holidays, and then this show starts about January 4th, so it gets everybody ramped up and going again. There's a lot of big auctions coming from the large auction houses, big coins. Man, we were in an auction last night. It was some Judd pattern coins. I mean, just amazing what some of these coins brought. So it gets the market kicked off. But it's been a couple years since I've been. I think 2019 was the last Fun Show I went to.
And then COVID happens.
Yeah, COVID happens in 2020, shuts everything down.
Yeah.
And 2021, it was kind of, shut down still. There was mask requirements and stuff. So I said, I'm not going with it.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get into 2022, and I was recovering from my hospital stay with COVID.
Yeah, you really,
Yeah.
you scared us, I'll say that.
Yeah. And it doesn't just attack 60-year-old diabetics. And then in 2023, whatever was going on with the airplanes, the airliners.
All that.
I mean, I know dealers. I talked to a dealer up there in the Fun Show this year that he was stuck there for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I knew we kind of saw the writing on the wall, so I didn't go. And this year, I was like the first year I felt like everything was finally back to normal.
All the pieces fell into
place. It just felt like everything was back to normal since COVID.
Absolutely.
Like it felt like, like we have a hard time remembering what it was like in 2019 before.
No kidding.
Before stuff was like, before you had precautions to take and like things could shut down, and like we never knew that as a country of like stuff shutting down.
Yeah, you could say we probably took a lot of that for granted.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just anything from supply chains to just taking a flight, and you're not gonna want to drive all the way to Florida with all these coins that you're coming back with too. So logistically, it just didn't make a lot of sense for a couple of years. But now everything's back to normal, and it sounded like just from the short time we were talking, you had a really good time there.
Yeah. So as far as coin shows go, and the ones I've been in this industry for 16 years. This was, hats off to the people who run the Fun Show.
Who is it?
It's the Florida United Numismatists Association, and I forget that. Yeah, that's what FUN stands for. I forget the chairwoman's name, but she did an excellent job. To put it into perspective, the first day of the show, they have the opening ceremony where they cut the ribbons and stuff like that.
Right.
I was purposely like 10 minutes late because it's a little short ceremony, and it's because where it's at in the convention center is just it's like a
bottleneck.
Well, yeah, it's like a bottleneck going down escalators, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of I didn't want to wait in line.
No.
So I was like, I'll just 10 minutes late to be cool. I don't need to see them cut a big ribbon with a giant pair of scissors, right? So I get there about 10 minutes late, and there's still a humongous line just to get registered because you have to present government issued photo ID, obviously for security concerns and stuff like that. And I had to wait probably 20 minutes, and I have some video. I guess we'll try to put it up here on YouTube of just the line. And we were 10 or 15 minutes past the show open. It was probably one of the best publicly attended shows I've ever seen.
That's good. So
yeah,
you picked the perfect time to get back into going to the show.
Yeah, and you want to see that. That's the sign of a healthy market. There's always going to be dealer traffic like us, because we're always on. But to see public traffic like it was, and there's a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram that I've already seen their videos saying that the show was just nonstop busy, and maybe $2,000 gold plays into that, but
absolutely.
But yeah, hats off to them at the Fun Show. It was well marketed, I guess, and well attended by the public. I'll tell you that.
So I've never been there before. Can you kind of describe the look, the place that it's at? Walking in the doors.
Yeah, so it's a really huge convention center out there. I think it's called the Orange County Convention Center, and it's a massive. I think my Uber driver told me it'll hold like 80,000 people or something. There's like 4 main what they call concourses. There's a north concourse, a south, east, and west. The fun show was in the north concourse. There was also a home and garden show in the south, and an ASI, which is like a promotional marketing type thing, show going on, all in the same thing. So when you go in, it looks like this is your normal convention center, but you go down escalades, and when you first start coming down the escalators,
Yeah.
you first start coming down the escalators, you can see there's windows on the top that let you see into what's called the Bourse floor, and you just get this, big sense of how big the show is.
So you're coming down on the escalator and you can see through the windows just the entire Bourse floor.
Yeah, you can see everything because it's probably 20 foot up, and those windows are 20 foot up, so you're seeing the whole thing.
Okay, so how many? If you had to guess, because I know you're not running the show, but you were there. How many people do you think turned out? The place can hold about 80,000. So,
oh man, I know that there's like 1,500 dealers. I would say probably traffic of 10,000 public. I mean, if I'm guessing over the course of the.
And this is multiple days, right?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays is your main days.
Okay.
Sunday's a day too, but a lot of people are packing up halfway through Saturday.
Okay, so the dealers are already starting to leave, and there's kind of empty spots, and
Yeah, and listen, let's be honest. There's some dealers, and they know who they are. They're packing up on Friday.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like the bigger dealers, a lot of us bigger dealers, we go there to maintain relationships and build new relationships, right? See people face to face, break bread with people is like what we like to say in Texas, break bread, right? So a lot of my time is spent walking the floor, looking for coins that we need, but it's also having lunch and dinner with people that either I want to know better or I've known for a long time and I want to maintain that relationship.
Absolutely. So a lot of these people, you're probably talking to them day in and day out, week by week, and some of them you've never met before. You never put a face to a name.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of dealers who don't know my face but know my name, and then there's the dealers that I consider friends and stuff like that we go that they've known me for 15 years. So there's a little bit of both.
Right. Okay, so you're at the show, and for you, is there a certain I always thought of it like you're a man on a mission. What is your plan of action there? Are you looking for certain coins, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so like when I go to a show, I'm always a man on a mission. Like I mean, my goal is to pay for the show, right? Because even though that we don't have a booth there, it's it's still about $2,000 just for me to go and walk the floors. I'm looking for stuff that we pass up, that we don't know, that we might not, because I might know all these dealers,
right?
But I don't know what's in their inventory, because as you know, like we have coins right now that we're waiting to be imaged.
We're still going through.
It takes so much time to put that stuff on the internet, and so when all these coins are spread out through cases, you can just go through. You're obviously finding new dealers. One of the favorite things I love to do is go to like the budget section or the back section, the non-premium tables, find dealers that have stuff that we specialize in, but I know that they don't specialize in, and I can buy stuff, 10% back of what I would normally pay for it.
So that's the thing is, a lot of things are moving toward the internet right now. So it's difficult for, these dealers, even for us sometimes. It does take a lot of time to take this inventory that we get from a show, list it online, or even an inventory that we have, talk to other dealers. So for them, I imagine that's where you might be able to make a couple of good opportunities. You see a coin that's in a display case that they haven't even taken the time to, they probably document it, but they haven't listed it anywhere. They aren't emailing anybody, letting them know that they have it. So
right. So it's like, you can only be an expert in so much stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we concentrate on our certain areas. You just can't be an expert in everything. And some of these dealers, their expertise might be in walking Liberty halves or vintage commemoratives or $20 gold pieces. And, but they have these local shops where, gold American Eagles and Proof 70 come across their counter.
Yeah.
And they buy them, but they really don't know the market on them. So So they pay less for them and they sell for less and they're happy because they don't, at the end of the day, they don't have a customer for them because all their customers are built around walkers or silver bullion stackers. I mean,
right.
So you can kind of go, it's not picking them off.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there's a coin that normally sells for $500, right, dealer to dealer, just because this sheet has it for $425, they'll sell it for $425 and they'll buy it for $3.25 from the public, not knowing that it's really probably worth $500 dealer to dealer.
Yeah, so I mean, these people they're still making money.
They know
what they paid for these coins, and when you're saying that, it kind of makes me think about with collecting too. You don't want to have a really big net. You don't want to cast a big net.
No.
You really want to pick, a couple of areas, something that you're comfortable with. And everybody starts out, with small steps. Mm-hmm. But you want to hone your craft, and then you want to have, one specific or maybe 2 or 3 areas that you target. And that's kind of the same way with dealers. With us, we target, 5 areas.
I don't care if your inventory budget is $100,000 or $8 million. Mm-hmm. There's only so much money to go around, and you've got to specialize in some stuff so that you can really understand the ins and outs of the markets. Mm-hmm. And that's like with us, we like a lot of Roman numeral gold eagles and proof 70.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, for as long as the reason I like that so much is because that is a area of gold American Eagle proof coins that is always in demand. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. And you don't necessarily always have to have the scarcest of the scarce coins for them to be good. You just have to have large demand and scarcity, or more demand than you have population, right? And so Roman numerals, that's a great area that we focus on, and we know the ins and outs. Like I can tell you right now, I can tell anybody who's listening, the coins that every dealer who specializes in it is looking for: 89 $5 gold pieces in proof 70, 91 1 ounces in proof 70, 91 half ounces in proof 70. All the dates in the Roman numeral proof 70 are considered better dates, but those 3 coins are tough. We could have an order right now for 10 $5 1989 proof 70s. Couldn't fill it, and I don't know who could.
Yeah, it would take us probably a year to even try to find those.
I didn't buy 10 last year, and I'm actively buying them.
Didn't you? I think you were telling me about a guy at the show that you ran across. You were talking about
the Roman numerals. There's a guy, when he first started out in the business, I kind of helped him along. This is 15 years ago.
Right.
And he specializes in modern proof 70, gold eagles. He used to do a lot of platinum eagles in proof 70, but that market's so dried up that it's hard as a wholesale dealer. It's hard to sell from an empty cart. But we were talking about, and I asked him. I said, "Man," he at the show. He's like, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Man, I'd like to find some 1989 $5 pieces in proof 70."
Yeah.
He's like, "What's so special?" I said, "Find me one."
Yeah. And
I said, "I'd pay," and I throw out a number, and he was like, "Are you crazy?
They're not worth that."
And they're not worth that. And I said, "Okay, find me 10 of them and I'll pay you that."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I don't know if I could find 10. I said, "Find me 1 to 10 of them and I can find you that." Well, at the end of the show, we end up talking. I said, "How many 89 $5 pieces did you find?" He said, "None." I said, "Me and you've been walking this show. I walk 15,000 steps a day on average. Mm-hmm. And we didn't find any." I said, "In all the contacts that I have over my career, all the contacts that you have over your career, how many could you turn up?" 0. That says something.
Absolutely.
I mean, listen, when it comes, like, it's hard to know what silver prices are going to do or what gold prices are going to do. There's so many factors. But to me, it's always been pretty easy to look at supply and demand and see, like, hey, this is an in-demand area. The supply's never there. I want to own that. And, like, the biggest secret for collectors out there, put money where big-time investors, collectors, and dealers are putting their money.
I mean, it's kind of like with the stock market. You see that these people have multi-million-dollar accounts, and you can track publicly and see what they're investing in.
Correct.
Follow the money. And as far as coins go, follow the money. I mean, see what these people are spending their money on. And you don't have to get the same exact amount of coins or dollar figure.
Right.
But just follow the trail, and you're going to do well.
Right. So the reason I like the 1989 $5 piece, it's uber affordable for everybody. Like, my 15-year-old daughter could afford it. but you can't find it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's affordable for now, but it's also gone up substantially in price since, I first started in the business. And what you like to point out all the time is pre-COVID prices and post-COVID prices.
It's insane on anything.
But especially Roman numeral gold eagles and proof 70. And just the market's not there. And, just to unveil the curtain a little bit, there's a lot of dealers who are putting gold American Eagle proof coins into IRAs. Now, you can't put proof 70s into IRAs. They're putting box and paper stuff. But at one point last year, the demand was so high for proof gold eagles for IRAs that dealers, and I know of several of them, that were cracking out proof 70s and putting them back into OGP boxes so that they can be
put into IRAs.
Yeah, so they can fulfill orders. That just tells you something. So, like that dealer was talking about with the $89 $5 pieces, he was like, they're not rare. There's like 1,500 of them in proof 70. I was like, yeah, but if 5,000 people want them, that's pretty hard to get.
The population doesn't really matter.
It's like Taylor Swift tickets. I mean, if she only issued 1,500 tickets, how much would those tickets cost?
Exactly, supply and demand.
Yeah, there's like 1 million people who want to go see, her show. And so, but tickets are scarce.
Yeah.
So it's all about relative. But yeah, if you're a gold eagle guy, definitely Roman numeral proof 70s. I mean, we've been saying it for years, and the market's dried up. I mean, I was there to buy all that we could in that area.
How many did you end up getting?
Maybe $10,000 worth, not much.
And that's gold. That's not a lot of coins.
It's not
that
much.
That tells you how scarce.
And a lot of it's already sold as soon as it came back. Never hit the website.
Those are earmarked.
Yeah, never hit the website or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if you don't believe in Roman numeral gold eagles as much as we do, go ahead and call our toll-free number and ask for me, and I'll buy
a conversation.
Yeah, I'll buy them from you.
Yeah,
for sure.
And another thing too, I want to make a point is a lot of people out there when they're first getting into a specific area, they might look at a 69 grade versus a 70 grade. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, here's what I'll say. In proof 69,
don't do it.
The only reason I say I never recommend anybody to buy proof 69 stuff is because you cannot point to one date in any denomination that is more valuable than any other date, except for the 2020 V75.
Yeah.
And take that coin out of it. That coin in OGP or proof 69 is a substantial premium over gold melt, right? But if you take any other date, you take a 1989 $5 piece in proof 69, it's worth the same thing as a 2021 in proof 69.
Exactly. There's no difference.
Yeah, I mean, collectors want proof 70, and that's just a demand thing.
Yeah.
And, proof gold eagles are made to such exacting standards. That's kind of the draw of them. You want a flawless coin. So I
would just say stay away from proof 69s, spend a little bit more money, and you might get less coins, but you're going to have a lot higher quality and a lot better opportunity to let them grow. Let them work for you. So
you don't want something that everybody can have all the time.
Yeah. What's that thing we say? We say, it's coins are kind of like real estate. You have your oceanfront property and you have maybe like an inner city property. Well, some of these inner cities you can go in and buy, I think like Detroit, you can go buy a whole city block. Well, think about it this way. Oceanfront property, there's a finite amount. Everybody wants it, not everybody can have it.
Right.
That's the type of coins you want. Inner city, these places where you can buy a city block, everybody can have it, but not everybody wants it.
Well, I like to say cheap coins aren't good and good coins aren't cheap.
Exactly, that's it.
That's 100% it.
So as far as, because I know I have not seen a fraction of what you came back from the show with. Was there anything like really amazing that stood out?
Man, one of the coolest things that I thought, and is brand new to market this year, is those augmented reality coins. Okay, and I showed you those. Yeah. Those are really cool.
Drop the coins?
Yeah, it's called Drop the Coin or something.
Drop the Coin.
They're 1 ounce silver coins, and they are, with the app, they come to life. The buffalo comes out and runs across. It's very cool. They have the Freedom Series with the eagle, and it has like historical events like the moon landing, Martin Luther King. Really cool coins. We'll put a video up of
'cause
them.
I
mean, it's hard to explain, but it's so fascinating, and it's so early on in that technology, and they're low minute, and they're super affordable. Like on my desk, I have the Buffalo and the Eagle, and I said this would be really cool for our customers who put together like Gold American Eagle sets and Proof 70. You can't really display. You don't want to display all that money on your desk or on a wall, but you could display, $189 coin.
Oh, without a doubt.
And show people and kids and grandkids how cool it is. What I think would be really cool, and I told the guys at the Drop the Coin place when they were showing me, I said, y'all need to go walk over to this booth over here to Celebrity Mint, go talk to Kenny and them, and because the Celebrity Mint does the Ric Flair.
They have celebrities
and like
that
Mike Tyson coins
and
and stuff like that. And like, how cool would it be if you had a Mike Tyson coin with the augmented reality and it had some of his best knockouts coming, just coming out of the coin in this augmented reality? That would be really cool.
Yeah, but you can definitely tell that, some people might refer it to as a little bit gimmicky, but you can tell that, whoever put it together, because I haven't done enough research to see, but whoever put this together took the time to think about a lot of facets around this.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, we're on the cusp of it sounding almost like NFTs.
That's kind of when I was talking to him. So basically, what I was told, I met the owner of it, and the owner was basically he's a coin dealer for 10, 15 years, and he's got a business partner who's an augmented reality guy, and they kind of just merged it, right? And it's to get the youth involved, but it's just something different. But you said gimmicky, and that's kind of what I thought when I first heard it. And then they gave me the demonstration, which is really simple. But when I saw it, I was like, man, this is really cool. And every dealer, I'm talking old school dealers, like dealers who are just old school dealers that I've known for so long. I showed them once I bought the set, and they were like, that's really cool. And so if you can get old school dealers to go, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
then it's not really
going to do well.
They were like, I thought it was gimmicky, but it's not. It's there's an education curve with the consumer market to get it, but.
And it's just fun too. I mean, one of my favorite parts about it, you had the Buffalo set up, you had the Eagle set up. I can't remember what I think it was just those two.
Yeah. But
you had multiple coins in their display case set on a desk, and you filmed it, and all of them came to life at the same time. Yeah.
So they have a 5-coin outer space set. I don't know what they actually call it. And they will play in unison. Like when they're all together, they'll play in unison,
and they'll interact.
They'll interact with each other. It's very neat.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably hard just listening to us talk about it, but we'll upload the video.
Absolutely.
It's really cool. And hats off to those guys. And I hope they do go talk to Kenny and them about. I mean, could you imagine like a Ric Flair coin and just Ric Flair coming out and coming to life, going woo, woo.
So, is that your favorite booth? From the show?
That was the most interesting. My favorite booth, I guess, was the guy who, sold me the most. He was pretty easy to deal with, other than he only wanted cash. And I was like, man, and I'll say this, for years I went to coin shows. This was back before, now I can send a deluxe e-check from my phone.
Yeah.
And but years ago, I know dealers who would travel with $100,000 in their vest pocket, Just that's something that I don't do.
Yeah,
I don't do. I don't even carry coins on me. So he wanted cash. I was like, man, I can give you a deluxe e-check. Now, I mean, and for years I just bought stuff on my name before we had that. I'd say I'm Walt Durham with my CCE call letters or CR4, but I'm a round table dealer.
Yeah.
And okay, cool. I have these references and but he was like, no checks. I need cash. And I was like, all right, well, let me go get you some cash. He was like, well, I need it in 30 minutes.
Why did you need it in 30 minutes?
Yeah, I guess he thought I was, bullshitting or something.
He's trying to put some urgency on you.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I want the coin. So I had to go to a couple dealers. Shout out to the dealers. They know who they are, and wrote them checks for some of their cash and went and bought the coins.
There you go.
But he had a lot of good stuff that was very reasonably priced. I negotiated on a few things, but I'm the type of person, if you're fairly priced and I can use it or I know I can use it, I'm going to buy it.
We're all about supporting other dealers, just keeping the market healthy. That's always good. So is this your first time meeting him?
Yeah, I've never seen him before. He was off in the budget section, but he had like a hodgepodge of stuff.
See, that alone's worth going to one of these coin shows just to network, and this is going to be a guy you're probably going to be doing business with in the future.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't know what to do with this stuff, right? This is not his area, and it was a lot of modern stuff, if I recall correctly. That it was a lot of Roman numeral gold. It was where the majority of the Roman numeral gold eagles in Proof 70 came from, and I got his card and I said, I'll be in touch with you because this stuff is they call it coming in over the counter. And that's basically like a local person coming up and selling it to them.
Okay.
And, that's what we tell our clients. Like, we could pay a lot more money if they call us than a local person. Because the local people, they ended up selling to us anyway.
There you go.
And then our shipping insurance and everything covers, to ship. So, but yeah, it just goes back to that thing. You can't be an expert in everything.
No, there's so many different things about coins that you can try to learn, but very few.
A lot of dealers want to sit there and put down modern coins, right? But a lot of them come around. Modern coins are very, very popular. I would say like even on a website setting, they'll sell 5-to-1 to a vintage coin. The demand's just greater and that's just the bottom line. I mean, there's no debating that. We do, we specialize in mint 10s, right?
Right.
But, one, we can't get enough to support the market.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't get enough to just solely live off of mint 10s.
No.
There's just not enough out there. Prime example, you asked me like one of the goals in the show, like you have a very good pulse on what our customers are needing and wanting. And, what we call the bread and butter mint 10s, like the affordable
starter.
Yeah, the affordable ones that are not just the 03Os or 95Os, like just different dates that are affordable. So somebody who's not going to put together a $100,000 collection, who can spend a couple thousand but doesn't want to spend $5,000. We found one at the entire show. I would say if you're in the market for a 46O, there was a lot of 46Os out there in 50, 53.
Didn't you see? So that's one of the purchases that we got from the show was a $10 OMint.
Yeah, so we bought a really nice 46O,
6/5, yeah,
in 58 CAC, which that coin's almost non-existent and uncirculated. It's a big coin. In respect to the person who bought it, I'm not going to give out the price of what it is, but it's a 5-figure coin, right?
Yeah.
That was a really good coin. Again, there was a lot of 46O. That was definitely the best 46O at the show.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there was 46Os and 55, but a 46O and 55 is vastly different than a 46/5 O.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty rare variety and a very acknowledged variety. But yeah, those kind of coins, man, they were hard to find, and there was, like I said, in the entire show, there's thousands of coins, and there was a.
So do you think that there was parts of the show that you didn't even get an opportunity to get to, or?
No, my little legs did some walking, bro.
You said 15,000 steps a day.
Yeah, 15,000 steps a day, and I think that's like close to 9 miles or something. I'd have to do the math, but I walked a lot. I spend 8 hours a day. Like, I remember years ago Joe going to a show with me, and he made half a day, and then it's not all, and it's long days too, because whether people want to admit it or not, going to happy hour after the show and going to dinner at, a lot of these relationships are built. I mean, I rekindled a business relationship. I've since bought, probably $6,000 or $7,000 from this guy that I used to do a lot of business with, but now he thinks, I don't want to say he thinks, but he knows I have some coins that he would eventually like for me to offer him in the future that we're constantly getting in, that we've been wholesaling out, that he wants. And so he's going to scratch my back. So he's offering me stuff that he would typically offer to other people because he knows I want it, because he wants that favorite return.
Yeah.
So that business relationship was developed all because I flew down to Florida, had a nice conversation with him, talked to him, and bought some stuff from him.
And ultimately, all of this work and this effort goes into not just getting good coins, but getting good coins at even better pricing, and it just makes it a better deal for our clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better deal for everybody, right? You know, one of the things I have an extreme distaste for is like there's a lot of companies out there that call themselves dealers, but they're mainly brokers. They won't inventory a $5 gold eagle at $300.
There's nothing actually in their vault.
Nothing.
They're basically selling something.
They're selling off.
Somebody else's vault.
Yeah, they're selling out of somebody else's vault, and it's like, how can you tell somebody they should own that when you won't even put your own money into it? And that's why, like, everything that we handle, you know, we want to own.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting here talking about 89 $5 pieces. Please, if you're out there in YouTube land and you have 89 proof 70s, call us. We'll buy them.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Like, we'll buy them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got onto you the other day. Like, we have these guys who want pennies, right? And I'm just like, ugh. You know, penny guys are really picky. But it's just not my cup of tea, and I don't believe in them. I don't like them.
I mean, they're good coins, but they're not for us.
But they're just not for us. And I mean, I'll inventory a key date. Like I had an 09 SVDB or whatever, and that's kind of always been my motto. And I tell, you know, any clients that I deal with is, you know, if you're not going to specialize in it, then just stick to the key dates, because it's easy to learn a key date, right?
Oh yeah.
Instead of learning an entire series. So if you stick to those key dates, the key dates are always in demand. They're the coins that carry the value of the entire set. That's what really, you know, you can really make a mistake by putting together, let's say you want to put together a $2.50 Indian collection.
Right.
And you just you put every coin together in 65 or 64, and you get to the 11D and you go, I'm going to go XF45.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. You're better off buying one 11D.
And not getting any other coins. Without a doubt. And a real easy way to tell, so a key date is going to be the rarest one or two coins in the set. And an easy way to do that is go back and look at the mintages. It's a good first step. You can see out of all the 2.5 Indians, you can see the 11D, that's the lowest minted. If you want to go a step further, you can go online and see survival rates, the current populations in their grades. PCGS and NGC, they have resources there. And you can go and pull up and say, there's so many that exist in all grades. And that's what we do, is we often look at both PCGS in combination with NGC.
Yeah, I think you have to. Like, for instance, at the show, we bought a 1921 high relief piece dollar in 64. As you know, we don't do a lot of piece dollar sets. But the 21 high relief is a famous coin, right? It's the key date coin. Is it the rarest coin in the set? No, but I guess you could argue it's the rarest coin in the set, but somebody could argue another date, right? It's just the most famous coin. It's always in demand. So it's like, yeah, I want that coin. Yeah. I might not have a customer for it, but it's a good coin. And eventually somebody's going to, want that coin. You buy at the right price, because we do have a lot of Morgan silver dollar collectors.
Yeah.
And so it's just a natural transition, and it's an affordable coin. I've told you the story before, but we tell our customers, key date coins, if you don't want to consider yourself a collector, but you want to own some really cool stuff, key date coins is kind of where it's at, because, my sister was really big into stacking silver several years ago. Silver was $30 to $35 an ounce. And she got to buy so much of it where I was like, hey, maybe we should look at buying you some rare silver coins to kind of hedge you, right?
I'm not a collector.
Yeah. So I talked her into buying a 21 high relief and 58 at the time from me. And it was like $200, probably a little less than that, actually. It was probably 175. And just like a year ago, I was talking to her about it. And she was like, man, silver's really down. I said, yeah, but that piece dollar's not. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, I'll give you like easy $450 for that piece dollar. She was like, were you kidding me? I was like, no. She's like, well, let me go find it. And she found it. She goes, no, I think I'm going to hold on to it.
Yeah, all of a sudden
I'm going to hold on to it. So it's just like, a lot of people say, well, I don't do rare coins because I don't want to pay a premium over melt. But you're going to pay a premium. Like, I've got news for you. You can buy silver rounds really close to melt, but when you go to sell them to a dealer, you're going to get below melt. If you buy silver American Eagles, you're going to pay over melt. but you're going to get
If
overmelt.
if you're lucky, you're going to get a little overmelt, and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's the scary thing, you know, after COVID happened, 2020, and that's why I often refer to pre-COVID pricing and post-COVID, Silver Eagles, the premiums on those coins. I want to say in the middle of last year, we had a huge demand for Silver Eagles. People were paying hefty premiums.
Yeah, it was nearly like twice melt.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane, and there was nothing you could do to convince these people not to get Silver Eagles.
So pre-COVID, like throughout the history that I've been a coin dealer, no matter where silver price is typically what our cost from a U.S. Mint distributor was $2.25 to $2.75 over melt. That was our cost, right? Yeah. And we'd sell them for $4 to $3.50 over, right? Last year it got to $14, $15 with silver at $20. Silver was at $20 and there was a $15 premium at one point on Silver American Eagles.
Yeah, and it's
ridiculous.
Our hands were tied. Every dealer's out there. They've been.
I told people don't buy them. I said go buy rounds or Maple Leafs, and because the premiums are going to come down, and they did. I said then you can whatever money change those ounces for and get more Silver Eagles.
But and that's the crazy thing is you try to help people understand if they're going to be paying twice melt for bullion. Mm-hmm. That means that the spot price would have to double at that point. Correct. For you to break even.
Right. Or the premiums would have to stay the same, and premiums never stay the same.
No, they're always fluctuating.
It doesn't matter if it's like proof gold for IRAs. Premiums go based on the market supply.
Just take a little bit of that money, and it's not a lot. These key dates, a lot of them are affordable. With some of the Morgans, they can get a little bit more pricey, but cut back on 5 or 6 pieces of this bullion, get one really nice peace dollar or Morgan, some of these starter pieces, see what happens. You're going to learn a lesson from it. You're going to, strengthen your knowledge of coins, and you're going to feel a lot more confident to do things like that in the future.
You're going to appreciate it more too.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's the same thing as if you go buy a car, you're going to appreciate a brand new Lexus over a Ford Taurus.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, like, you talk about Silver Eagles at the time, the premiums, a lot of collectors would have been better off buying complete Silver Eagle sets from 86 to 2023 and 69. I mean, those things have done well and they hold their value, and the premiums were pretty much, just standard compared to what you were paying for a raw coin.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, like some people, they feel like if you're trying to tell them to do something other than what they want to do, that you're trying to sell them. You're trying to, lead them in a direction that benefits you. But at the end of the day, if I know this, my grandpa said this forever. When it comes to business, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll need for nothing. Yeah. And so if you kind of take that approach, and that's the kind of approach we take with it, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So I mean, we were telling people do not buy Silver Eagles right now. Just like we have a customer. Well, he's not even a customer anymore because he won't do business with us. When silver ran up to in 2011. To $48, and he wanted a monster box of Silver Eagles at $51 a piece, and we said, do not buy these. Silver's at the peak of its market. Do not buy these. Yeah. And he said, if you don't sell them to me, I'm going somewhere else. So we sold him. We sold him Silver Eagles, a monster box, $51 or $52, and silver, crashed, and he never picked up the phone for us again.
It's a shame. It really is.
We tried to tell him, like. But, at the end of the day, it didn't go to zero. I was talking to somebody yesterday because we had a guy that we met at the show, just a normal customer. And I'm not going to say the IRA company's name. Right. But they sold him. They took basically like $100,000 of his retirement, put him into 1 ounce silver. The problem is they put him in at $63 an ounce.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that's just...
And that's just bullion.
Just 1 ounce silver, yeah. And
oh no.
Yeah. And unfortunately, so I was talking to a dealer and I said, man, what I tell this guy? And he's like, well, I've had paper stuff in my IRA go to zero. At least he's not at zero. So, well, that's one way to look at it. But yeah, don't pay $63 an ounce
For bullion.
Don't
ever do it.
No, but
Well,
if you could get Silver Eagles in proof, like the proof ones, and put in at $63, you're stealing them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those coins are worth considerably more. But just they were regular old 1 ounce St. Helena's or something. Yeah, and I can't believe that. And it's a very large IRA company, so I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know how they're still in business, but
we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I think the internet's full of stuff that if you just do a little bit of research,
just take one step, do a little research, figure it out, and
you'll be good.
And if I don't know, that blows my mind.
But one of the things, so like one of our specialties, right? You was talking about like stuff at the show, and you saw a little group of them, but I bought a small group of PCGS old Rattler holder. Yeah, them old Rattler holder Morgans. You're talking about cheap coin, couple $100 coins, right?
Yeah.
But go ahead, and 81S is a common date. I mean, that's a.
I mean, you can typically find that coin in a 63, 64, easy.
65, easy. 66, 67.
And they're affordable.
It's a date that's well known for its high survival rate, like in higher conditions, right? I think we've placed this a 69 in the 81S. Yeah. So, but it's a coin like so you can go find an 81S out there in 63 or 64, but go find it in an old Rattler holder. You're not. So that's kind of cool stuff that I like to buy, and that's the kind of stuff that we recommend to our clients. You want that kind of cool stuff. Just like the customer you have with the 99.0, was it in 61 or
61?
61. So it's in like one of those real old school small
Annex
holders.
From I think I dated it back. I want to say it's late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and the coin's accurately graded, and that's a good thing about working with a good dealer like us. Like we specialize in Augmented 10s. Like I can tell you that coin's going to, cross at least a 61. But probably 62.
Yeah. So a lot of these old rattlers, these old green holders, you're seeing less and less of them as time goes on.
Yeah, because it's called crack out dealers.
So because back then, whenever PCGS or even NGC, when they were grading coins originally, they were too strict. So they wanted to be safe.
Trying to build a reputation.
Yeah, exactly. They want to make sure that they were the kind of the cornerstone of grading, and they've done well. But what dealers will do is they will see a Morgan silver dollar, $10 gold delivery, doesn't matter what it is, in these older holders, they'll crack it open and they'll send it back in hopes that it'll come back in a higher grade.
Exactly, and that's their whole business. It's like there's
some people out there that they only crack holders. See, and another thing too is if you really think about it, there's absolutely no way that PCGS and NGC can keep up with this. So on these older coins, Morgan silver dollars, peace dollars, any of the liberties, they are inflating
the population. Yeah, the populations are a little bit inflated. But like we used to crack out coins for a bit there and send them back in. And we would wholesale them out because I always tell retail guys, you'd rather have a really strong 63 than a barely made at 64.
Yeah.
But you could take a 60, like I could go to a show, find, a 63, whatever. Let's say it's a 10 lib, and say this coin and this coin and this coin have a shot to upgrade, and it's a $250 gain on this coin if it upgrades. It's probably a $500 gain on this coin if it upgrades.
Yeah.
And that's people's whole business. That's what they do.
Man.
And so that's why like CAC and EQ and these site white Morgans have built such a good brand, and why those coins bring such a strong premium is because, for lack of a better word, the trash that's out there in other holders. Like, is NGC or PCGS not grading them properly? No, they're grading them properly, but there's always coins that just make the grade, and there's coins that just miss being the next grade.
Yeah, I always tell people, even if you're, relatively new to coins, given enough time, if you have 100 of one specific coin set out in front of you on a desk, you got your loop, and you're looking through, you could probably find out of those 100 coins, if they're all in the same grade, you could find a handful that look way better than the rest.
Right.
So, like you said, ones that just barely get to that grade, I'd rather have the other end of it, ones that are really nice for that grade. Those are the CAC, the EQ coins, the really nice looking ones.
Yeah, we call them meaty coins.
Meaty.
They still got a lot of meat on that bone. I mean, that's just these coins that are just really meaty. The original. I've always make the analogy. Original and authentic coins are better than the dip coins, right? So you have if you collect old cars, you have one old car here that's completely restored to mint condition. Then you got a car here that's completely original in mint condition. Yeah, they are the same in essence, but the coin that's like original in mint condition is always going to be more valuable, but at the bare minimum more desirable.
Oh yeah, people that want coins, that want classic cars, vintage cars, they want as original as possible.
Right.
So some of these old holders, if you see them, I know you told me that you're basically on the look for them. They always catch your eye.
Because you just can't you can go on the internet right now and find an 81 Essence 3 or 4 with no problem. You could probably 50. I could tell my 15-year-old daughter to buy 25 of them. She could probably find them. Mm. But I could tell her to go find 5 or 10 81 S's and 3 or 4 and old Rattlers, and it's a different story. Yeah. And at the end of the day, coins aren't complicated. You want to own coins that other people want and can't get all the time. And, an 81S in a 64 has a very huge population. Yeah. And an old Rattler holder, it doesn't. And it's still affordable coin. Like I said, we're talking a couple $100.
They're typically priced the same. There might be a small premium if the dealer knows.
Oh, I'll pay up for them just because go find another one.
You can't.
I mean, that's just look. You remember old Jerry Jones saying, everything I've overpaid for, I made money on.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of that aspect. Sometimes you just got to be willing to pay the money to get good stuff. Yeah. Because if you're always constantly looking for the best deal, you'll never buy anything, or you'll never buy anything worth it. You can go out there and buy. We just talked about the high relief peace dollar. Mm-hmm. You can go buy a high relief peace dollar 64. Relatively cheap. You can go steal it, but it's going to be toned. It's not going to be like that overall. It's going to be weak struck here and so on and so forth, but it's going to be discounted. But there's a reason it's discounted.
And that discount, that reason is still going to be there when you sell the coin.
1,000%. So that's what we try to, that's what I've always tried to teach people is that's always going to be there. It's always going to be a struggle to sell that coin, or it's going to be worth less. Goes back to the old adage of, bullion. You want to buy silver rounds? Yeah, you're going to buy them close to spot, but when you go to sell them, you're going to get below spot. You could buy foreign gold coins at the show, there was foreign gold coins, and we've got one that we bought over the counter. Yeah. But they were selling lots of them for 98% of melt. So, you could literally go.
I'm saving so much money by getting foreign gold.
Yeah, but if you go to sell to, say you need cash and you want to liquidate, you're going to get 90% of melt. Because nobody wants them.
It's foreign.
It's hard to understand. Yeah. It's hard to understand how much gold's in it. People don't trust it as much as the gold American buffalo. It's these weird foreign coins that you have to look up in a catalog to see how much. And very, very few people specialize in world coins. Yeah, the percentages are.
So you're going to have a harder time. You'd have to find one of those people to get any close to a premium on it, or even close to spot at that point. Otherwise, if you go somewhere local, I guarantee they're gonna lowball the heck out of you.
No, there are YouTube videos out there of local coin guys that do vlogs or behind the scene of their business, and they'll flat out tell you they're trying to buy it 50% of what it's worth, and they have to keep the lights on.
What's the old rule? I know a lot of those shops do it. They want to double up. They want
to call it doubling up. That's 50. Up. So they're paying 50 cents on the dollar. Mm. And now you're not going to get. They're not going to buy bullion that way because most people are not going to sell 1 ounce gold bars at half melt. Yeah. But they're going to pay less than. But again, it's quick cash. It's there. It's convenient. They don't have to ship it, and there's there's not that. There's pros and cons with it. But yeah, we had a customer one time with a very rare pattern coin. Mm-hmm. And it was a pattern Morgan, and he took it to the local pawn shop just to see what they would give him for it. they said like 20,000 or something. I mean, it was the coin had just auctioned for 75. But hey, if you want cash, if you want it cash, and they don't know no better because a lot of these pawn shops and local buyers, they buy everything. They buy vintage records. They buy
anything that sells.
They buy anything that's not nailed to the floor.
Yeah,
tools. So
and it's funny too.
It's not where you want to sell coins.
Shows like Pawn Stars. Expert walks in the door, very clearly says, "This is worth this." What's it? Rick, he always says, I got to make money. I got to make money.
Got to make money.
It's cash, here, and that's what it's worth. So that's what they do most of the time. But
yeah, if you want to have a good working relationship, and this goes for dealer to dealer, is you got to be okay with somebody else making money because at the end of the day, time is money. Like, the dealers that we've had long-standing relationships for, the relationships were built because they always left a little meat on the bone for us. Or when we sold it to them, we always left a little meat on the bone for them. Yeah, like if
it's reciprocal,
Yeah, if somebody comes in with coins that we don't have a customer base for, I'd rather sell it to somebody who does and him go get the extra 10% because he has the customer base for it. I mean, because at the end of the day, it saves me time.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I care about.
So, do you have plans on going to the show next year? From here, you're going to try to make
show? As long as there's no like stupid stuff like COVID or anything. Like we'll probably knock on wood.
No COVID.
Yeah, no COVID stuff. But I'm thinking that we will. The next show we'll go to is the Houston Money Show.
When's that?
It's the 20th. Or the 19th, something like that. So come January.
Okay, so
that's a drive. That's just a drive for us, and I could probably walk that show in a day and buy what we need to buy and see what It's a 2-hour drive from here, so that's not difficult.
And there's also this year there's an A&A show.
A&A is a big show. I'm debating about that. Every year I get calls from other dealers. Hey man, you going to A&A? And it's like, it's in Chicago. Yeah, maybe not.
So I think I've heard in the past that at the A&A show, either I can't remember if it's PCGS or NGC, they will be there grading coins.
Well, that's at the fun show. That's at a lot of the shows.
They do it also at
fun show. One of the purchases we made at the fun show, we dropped off at NGC to be reholdered. The holders needed to be reholdered. Nothing irritates a retail customer or anybody really who spends $2,000 or $3,000 on a coin. They get a scuffed up holder.
Yeah.
So we'll go spend the $15 to get a new holder.
So how does that? I know typically whenever you send coins to PCGS or NGC, depending on how backed up they can be, it might be a couple weeks, it might be a month, it might be 2 months for something really extreme. But at the show, is that?
Now, reholders, I don't think they do reholders at the show. Like, basically all I was doing is saving us shipping, right?
You just drop them off to them. And
just drop it off. They take it back to
ship it.
Yeah, they take it back to the office. With NGC, we have a dedicated rep with NGC, so things move a little faster for us than most people, like the average person.
But at the show, is that like a day turnaround?
Yeah, they do have show, but
you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's got to be a big coin, for show grading fee.
That would be really exciting. You go to the show, you buy a coin. I doubt a lot of those are going to be raw, but there are coins there that are going to be
absolutely.
Raw. You buy it, spend the money, have it graded. That'd be a lot of fun to go to the show and purchase one and have it graded within 24 hours. Cost a lot of money.
It's fun. But it's like gambling. I mean, me and Brad used to do it all the time. That's what we did. It's part of the game and it's part of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
We would go buy stuff or crack it out at the show and resubmit it and do show walkthrough. It's about $150, I think, for a show walkthrough or something like that.
That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get it back the next day or something. So, I mean, we've done all that. It's fun. Believe it or not, NGC, PCGS, and NX are all there at all the major shows.
Okay.
And you can drop off there.
Okay.
And either do what we did, drop it off for shipment back, or do a show walkthrough, or they do reconsiderations there.
Mm-hmm. What's a reconsideration?
So, if you have a coin, let's say that's in an older NGC 63 holder, like a big coin, like a $10,000 coin, and you're like, man, this coin's way too nice. Because listen, NGC gets it right 99% of the time. PCGS gets it right 99% of the time. But there's always that chance that the grader either had a bad day, not not emotionally, but just a bad
yeah.
grading day. Like
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
humans. It's an art. It's not a science. And or he just had a box of coins that came in, and he got a clean coin, a clean coin, a clean coin, and you know all these problem coins. And he's
Mistakes happen.
So he's in a negative mood, and all of a sudden here's this really nice coin that comes in, and he downgrades it a point or two because in his mind he's just been hit with all this negative stuff.
Yeah.
So a reconsideration, it very rarely works, I think, because it's like the U.S. government saying, "Hey, we were wrong." So like it's a fine line, and I'm not picking on NGC or PCGS, but it's hard for anybody to admit when they make a mistake. So it's basically like, "Hey, I want you to reconsider this grade," and they'll reconsider it.
Yeah.
And it's a small fee.
And I won't say which of the services we use, but I know we've had coins come back in the completely wrong holder, or the label was completely wrong.
Yeah, mistakes happen, dude.
And, you know, so the reconsideration, that so I would imagine if I was trying to plead the case for my coin, I would want to point out certain parts of it.
But you can't do that.
You can't, it's just...
No, you're not talking to a grader.
You just say, I know that, but you don't get to leave any notes and say, like, here's my case for this coin. Look at this part of the field or the devices.
No.
You just say, I want to reconsider it. And you pay
it's on the submission form, reconsideration. You know, or crossover. You can take let's say you have a customer who only does NGC or only does PCGS, and you found the coin he wants in an NGC 63, but he wants it in only PCGS 3, and you can take it to this grading service and see if it'll cross over. I haven't had a lot of success with stuff that crosses over, especially vintage gold. Like a lot of people think PCGS is stricter on vintage. And it's been my experience that NGC is a little stricter. And it could all be you send them a PCGS holder and they're like, no. It could be one of those things, but I don't know, man. You know, at the end of the day, you got to realize everybody's human, and you got to buy the coin, the actual coin, and not the holder. And if you stick to that philosophy, you can. Again, you want to buy an accurately graded coin, and that's why you see the CAC coins bring so much premiums. I mean, the coin we won last night in auction went for, I don't know, 20 to 30% more than me and any other dealer that I was consulting on with it thought it would. But, you know, it was a coin out of the Fairmont collection, and I'm just going to be honest, most of the coins out of the Fairmont collection are trash. Most of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a large collection, but it had a lot of...
but there's some gems in there.
Yeah.
And this coin was a gem, and so, like, people were willing to pay for good stuff. And it was CAC approved, and so that's probably why it, you know, again, good coins bring good money. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Absolutely. All right, so I think that's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of work. A little bit of both. But yeah, hopefully we can do this more often. We plan on doing this either at some level, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Yeah. Whenever we can get a second to sit down and shoot videos, but
especially around big events, you know.
Yeah, but also
things like that.
Also show some new purchases and kind of like the behind the scenes process. One of the things that I want to do with this podcast, I guess you'd call it, is, you know, like show people the difference between, there's a lot of people out there who don't know the difference between a gold eagle and a gold buffalo, like a 1 ounce. Like, oh, well, I want the gold buffalo because it's 24 karat gold. Correct, but the gold eagle has an ounce of 24 karat gold in it. It just weighs more than, you know, so that little stuff.
It can get, you know, kind of daunting for people when they're starting to learn. It's a lot at first, but it gets easier. Absolutely. It absolutely gets easier.
100%. So we'll do this more often. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you hit subscribe, like, and comment, whatever comment you have, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.